A group of local kids who got a dramatic lesson in civics in what many say was a less than civil manner. CBS 2's Rob Morrison reports.
13-year-old Andrew DeMarchis and some friends recently cooked up quite a little business selling cupcakes in Gedney Park, a public space in the small town of Newcastle. He says they made about $120 in one weekend, which made them hungry for more.
And then we decided to go back the next week and do it again. A police officer pulled up and he told us to shut down our bake sale because we didn't have a permit.
Andrew's mother, Suzanne, says she's furious someone would call the cops instead of dealing directly with her.
We didn't know we needed a permit. We're really rule followers.
Turns out it was a town councilman who dropped the dime on the kids when he found out their little enterprise was for profit, not charity.
Hi, good evening. How are you? Mr. Wolfenson?
Yeah.
Rob Morrison from Channel 2.
Tonight, that councilman, Michael Wolfenson, declined to tell us his side of the story on camera, but he told me plenty off camera.
Instead of being remorseful, Wolfenson instead calls this a complete non-story and says the boy's parents are blowing it way out of proportion. He also says that since the story became public, he and his family are being scorned by the community.
The Newcastle Parks chief says that while technically Wolfenson was correct in demanding a permit, which can cost hundreds of dollars, exceptions can always be made.
Maybe I would charge them $1 or something, and if they were trying to make money for college or something like that, just to teach them that there's a cost of doing business.
But no one here imagines such tough life lessons could come from selling cupcakes. In Newcastle, Rob Morrison, CBS 2 News.
The councilman does acknowledge that this incident has cast a bad light on his town.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Tuesday, November 16th, 2010, and I am Darko. Welcome to this part 2 of the War on Terror, Liberty, Sovereignty news segment. You just saw it there. I don't know if you could overhear me laughing at what that individual said about learning lessons about, you know, having to pay your way and learning a civic duty. I mean, what a joke. What a crock of crap, right? You know, what does that teach young people? That teaches them that they're not living in a free market, that basically the government is a mafia and they can make exceptions, and basically they do these shakedowns, right? Unless you pay them and submit to them and capitulate to them as a business owner or an entrepreneur, you know, even as a child, they want you to go to the government first in order to conduct commerce. See, and that's the lesson that this young man is going to have to learn. Just like in the last video where the young man was flying an American flag and was told to take it down off his bike by the public school. And of course they weren't there to comment because they were closed for Veterans Day, to honor Veterans Day. So you can see it's a bunch of crap. Usually these public schools and sports events and all this, they all like to wave and wrap themselves and don themselves in the American flag, the red, white, and blue, and that. And they're nothing but fascists. They're effing Nazis. And so hopefully the young man learned his lesson, that this is not a free market. We are fascist, and that exceptions can always be made as long as you comply with the shakedown and you make the payoff, right? So, I mean, I covered a story like this within the past 4 months, or maybe 6 months now, because time's flying, about a lemonade stand that was shut down because they didn't have a permit. These people are very serious, and that's why he said this is a non-story, because to him, it is a non-story. To him, you know, maybe he was spoiled or didn't get enough love from his parents, but either way, maybe he's never shoveled snow when he was 10 years old to earn $1 or $2. And yeah, you gotta have a permit. So, anyways, we gotta keep moving on here because I have other stuff to cover. The next video that I'm going to cover here is Call of Duty Black Ops torture scene. So you know, it's a lot of disinfo and a lot of programming going on in these video games, mostly for young people. If you followed the last video, you remember that I was talking about how the United States and the Western world basically are to supply a pool of psychopaths ready to just kill anybody. And this is the thing, guys. This is the point I'm trying to stress here, is that it has nothing to do with nationalism, nothing to do with, you know, the great government, right? because they're a global army and they have nothing to do with nationalism. It's all about a global army fighting a global threat of terrorism, and I am the terrorist and you are the terrorist, and anyone that doesn't like big government, small government, or government at all is a terrorist. So it's very important that I make that point, so that all these black ops and all that, and it has to do with global intelligence agencies that are all interconnected, global armies all interconnected, fighting not for a nationalistic purpose, but for a global purpose, because we're global citizens. So here we go.
Don't you morons get it? If you think your government-sponsored brutality intimidates me, you clearly don't know anything about Dragovich. I have nothing to gain by talking to you.
Think about what you have to lose.
Do this all day. We got plenty of windows.
Or you can give us what we want and we guarantee your safety.
I'm already a dead man. I've been hunted across every corner of the globe.
So there you go. The soldier there basically tells them what they want, and they go on their merry way. But basically, yeah, it just legitimizes not terrorism, but torture, and says that torture is okay, as long, to keep us safe. And just before we move on, just want to say that, when I talk about how it's not nationalism, I'm not trying to propose that it should be. So the biggest point that I like to make here in these videos is that it's because of nationalism that we're in these situations here, right? So, protests welcome Obama in Seoul, says U.S. President Barack Obama has arrived in South Korea to attend the G20 summit in Seoul as activists stage protests against Washington's policies around the world. And see, when you say Washington, they assume that it's what? The American people. Well, no, it's not the American people. It is not the American people. They do not have control over this country. This country, this nation, this corporation has been basically from the get-go, sold down the river. People's rights sold down the river. So I don't know who's in control, but somebody is. And they have a nefarious agenda. It says prior to his arrival in Seoul, thousands of South Korean peace activists and civic group members took to the streets to protest Obama's visit, saying the U.S. president is not welcome in South Korea. So there you go. Obama acknowledges decline of U.S. dominance, and this is all part of the strategy to bring the U.S. down, of course. But he says on Sunday that the U.S. was no longer in a position to, quote, meet the rest of the world economically on our terms. So, and this is what he was put there for, to help bring. This is the change that he was talking about basically. Finishing off whatever was left of America. I do think that one of the challenges that we are going to face in the U.S. at a time when we are still recovering from the financial takeover, they call it a crisis, is how do we respond to some of these challenges of globalization. So you see, there you go. Bang that globalization word as a sellout. He's a sellout. Just like Bush, just like all the other presidents. They're all sellouts to you. Nation states are dead. EU chief says the belief that countries can stand alone is a lie and an illusion. This is Ron Pui, who called for, quote, global governance as he sits there with the little illuminated sun in red and blue Masonic colors on his podium. It says the age of the nation state is over, and the idea that countries can stand alone is an illusion and a lie, he says, in one of the most open proclamations of the goal of the European superstate since the heyday of Jacques Delors. No, I mean, it was the biggest proclamation was that he was calling for global governance, and global governance isn't government. It's a dictatorship. That's what it is, guys. They play the little word games. But we're going to move on here, and sorry for my little swashing around and my cough drop. I'm sick, but just want to make sure I bring you this news because, I was having a hell of a time yesterday trying to, lately, just in the past couple videos, getting them up. YouTube doesn't want to post them. They don't want to make them public, and if they do, they wait 5 days to make them public. But yesterday they weren't even posting it, so I'm trying to finish off what I can today. Council on Foreign Relations panel advises Obama to scale back Afghan occupation. It says influential U.S. experts. Oh, I wonder who the experts are that are influential in the U.S. The Council on Foreign Relations? Oh, but it does say that. On Friday, painted a grim picture of the Afghan war, calling on President our Fuhrer, Barry Santoro, to consider scaling back the military mission without signs of progress. The task force of the Council on Foreign Relations, largely backed by the Obama administration's plan of intensifying military operations against the Taliban and starting a withdrawal in mid-2011. So, but then it goes on here. It says, NATO chief says there is no alternative to staying in Afghanistan. NATO's Secretary General warned on Monday that there was no alternative to a prolonged frontline role in Afghanistan as the organization prepared a phased withdrawal plan based on U.S. strategy in Iraq. And we're going to keep moving on here. And this one says that from McClatchy, Obama to renege on Afghan drawdown. It says, here we go. And it goes down here to a quote. It says, at the conclusion of an interview in his West Wing office, Biden was adamant, quote, in July of 2011, you're going to see a whole lot of people moving out. Bet on it, Biden said as he wheeled to leave the room late for lunch with the president. He turned at the door and said once more, bet on it. You can go down there and check out, they have some more quotes down here, but I'm going to keep moving because I still have a bunch of more stories, headlines cover. U.S. plan envisions path to ending Afghan combat. So it says the Obama administration has developed a plan to begin transferring security duties in select areas of Afghanistan to that country's forces over the next 18 to 24 months with an eye towards ending the American combat mission there. I love how they say that by 2014, officials said Sunday. So just like Iraq, they ended combat missions even though they have like 50,000 troops there still. And but you say, oh, there's not a war on terrorism, a war in Iraq going on. People will say that there's not a war going on. Oh, they ended the combat mission there. They actually believe this rhetoric, dude. I feel sorry for them. U.S. tweaks message on troops in Afghanistan. So again, just more, playing the word game. U.S. troops beheaded Iraqi detainee. American forces decapitated an Iraqi last year on the order of their higher-up. Show recently exposed U.S. military documents. So, next one up, U.S. used more drones to hunt for al-Qaeda in Yemen. Yemen is their big target right now. I think they've been already funding them, trying to tie the U.S. parcel kind of false flag. UPS bomb plots, whatever the hell that was. But that and the Christmas Day underwear bomber Patsy that was working for intelligence agencies, they try to wrap it all up into Yemen because they really want to get up into that country. So it says U.S. to boost military presence in Yemen. So there you go. The Obama administration has laid a military plan in the Middle East with mobilizing military and intelligence resources to Yemen to allegedly fight terrorism. Keyword allegedly. So suspected U.S. missiles killed 20 in northwest Pakistan. Suspected American missiles slammed into a home and speeding vehicle near the Afghan border, killing 20 alleged militants. Keyword alleged. Going to move on here. Unauthorized U.S. drone attack kills 20. At least 20 people have been killed in a non-UN sanctioned U.S. drone attack in the tribal area in Pakistan's resistive northwest. And it goes on here. It says Gates sees Iran risk as strike would unite countries. So Gates wants to attack Iran to unite America. Iran launches the biggest aerial drills. It's launched its biggest nationwide air defense drill to prepare against any possible attacks, quote, on public or nuclear sites. White House says child soldiers are okay if they fight terrorists. So there we go. This Josh Rogan at Foreign Policy reported that President Barack Obama issued a presidential memorandum granting waivers from the Child Soldiers Prevention Act to 4 countries: Chad, Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, and Yemen. Pentagon readies new ship killers for Pacific showdown. North Korea, red alert over bizarre North Korean plan to attack G20 summits with balloons filled with chemical weapons. Almost as ridiculous as the Al-Qaeda attacking, putting bombs into dogs. U.S. sees huge cyber threat in the future. Mexico, $80 million boom industry, bulletproof cars. California school shooter drill upsets parents